happened on 12 July. It happened on 12 July.
A couple of days ago.
So that is my question. That why now? 12 July, why now? Today is 23rd July. If it happened on 12 July, why now? And the second one is, it is obvious this tape has been edited. How do we put all the pieces together? It is obvious this tape has been edited, even if you listen to the transition from the intern to the editor. There was a cut, a sharp cut. How do we put it together? So in doing the analysis, I want to guide you in all these. How did the whole thing start? The intern, Rabiu or whatever, how did she start? What did she say before we got here? So let's those things guide us in our presentation. Then we can take it from there. Chief, now you can continue.
Sammy, we can only imagine the full conversation. But from the audio, it didn't seem there was a conversation. It seemed that someone made a call and introduced herself and says that I'm calling from this media house. And then the minister, retorted by asking who gave her the permission to call her as high as she is. Maybe she would have expected the news editor, in which case was Sammy Duwona.
Yeah.
And he's the leader of the Alabaster Box.
Oh, okay, good.
So maybe she was expecting someone higher up the ladder to have called her rather than the intern. But Sammy, whether an intern or an ordinary citizen, see, the minister has to realize that she owes every one of us an answer to any question that we have, regardless of who called. Because that is why you are there. You are there for the people. You are there to respond to the needs of the people. You see here, one of the vows they take, one of the vows they make is that we will respond to you morning, night, and day. Anytime you call on us, we will respond. So for someone to make it sound and look as though you are too down the food chain to reach me for questioning, smacks of, first of all, over inflated ego. Because in the first place, she admitted, Opening to Sammy, and Opening to say, well, you're supposed to be motherly. You're supposed to be a mentor. So she rather should have been very welcoming, and be impressed and even commend her, for daring to call her as high as she, put it. So for me, like I said from the beginning, that I don't want to look at some other angles by saying that maybe the lady was wrong or the tape is doctored. While analyzing the tape we have heard, the one that has been put out, and finally the way she said, "Go off the line."
Go off
in a commanding voice, as if the lady is not worthy to speak with her because she's a minister of state. And that's a very, very myopic and base thinking. And for me, it's a microcosm of the way a lot of our political appointees think. That we have gone to war, we have campaigned, and we have won power. And we are sharing the spoils. And mine is, the appointment that I have. Who are you to talk to me? It must enter their head. Perhaps this is a very good case. It must enter their head that when you are appointed to such positions, you are paid by the taxpayer, which includes every single person in this country. And you owe us, an answer or a response to whatever issue we seek. Because that is why you are there. Why are you there? Why are you there as a minister? That's basically the reason why you're there.
But Chief, once again, can we go behind what we are hearing to ask ourselves some basic questions?
What is the behind?
Chief Charles, with your experience over decades, experience in the music industry, should any guy approach you in the name of a journalist and he starts asking, please, can you tell me about yourself? Like those petty questions.
Sammy,
are you not likely to ask?
That is where intelligence, emotional intelligence comes in. And she describes herself as an elderly woman. I would have expected that she would have handled the case very, very intelligently. She would have handled the case motherly. At best, she would have asked, who are you? Oh, I'm an intern. Oh, an intern. Okay, you know what? Maybe I'm busy doing 1 or 2. Can you call me back? But you can tell downright that she was looking down on the lady based on her tone and the language she used. So look, these things, they come all the time. You and I know. People reach us however they get our number. and then someone who just wants to engage in a conversation, they want to ask you some frivolous question. I always have a way of handling such people. I try to be nice because I don't want you to put it out there that Chief Charles was rude to me. So I try to be as nice as I can. Sometimes if you continue, I may not even respond anymore.
Okay, be wrapping up, boss.
You know, so for me, it all boils down to emotional intelligence. Maybe she had a bad day that day. Maybe she was going
because
through...
even her response to the editor himself as
exactly.
well.
For me, it smacks of someone who had maybe a bad day, and it happens to everybody. But the thing is, being in that high office, there's a way she should have handled the issue so it doesn't escalate as he has done. In this one, I mean, I think she failed woefully. And in advanced countries, I'm sure she would have tendered in a resignation by this morning. But in Ghana, even if you are caught collecting bribe, you will be cleared.
All right, so his name is Chief Charles. He doubles as a musician and he one of your regular pundits here on the show. So we are still looking at a story in which the Minister of Sanitation, Cecilia Dapa, has said that why would an intern call her for an interview? That is what we're doing. Chief Charles, you heard his opinion there. Let's move on to Arnold Mason Levanyo, but you can also share yours on Twitter at Xylophone102.
First of all, intern has nothing to do with whether you're male or female. We have male interns and female interns, and the minister is not angry because a female called her. She's angry because an intern called her. So the whole argument of a woman looking down on another woman or women are their own enemies and all those conversations should be cut out, because it has nothing relating to feminism. The lady is an intern. It could be an intern guy who called her, and she will still be angry for the fact that it is an intern calling her. You know, So let's get that clear and deal with the issue as it is. Now, beyond the minister's anger and outburst, let's look at the issue from asking interns to conduct certain interviews or asking interns to do certain jobs for media houses. If someone is an intern, it is considered that the person is still under training. Oh, of course, we have intelligent interns based on their output, what they've done before, or what, some of them have been working before they decided to formalize their knowledge. I started working before I went to school to learn whatever I've learned, and we have a lot of them in the system. Some interns are actually bosses of their own whatever in the same field, and then they decide to go to school to upgrade or get some certificate to continue. So for such a person, even if he's an intern, he could still ask relevant questions or take up big jobs. You get me? Now, that is one. Whether or not interns should be allowed to do any kind of operation or activities in the name of major media houses that have people who have been doing the job, like senior editors, senior presenters, senior newscasters, senior reporters, and blah 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 blah. Whether you could leave all those people and send an intern to do their job, where you could conveniently ask these senior reporters to do those jobs. Now let's come down to the minister's response. Regardless of the position or status of the one who called her, her outburst was uncalled for. Regardless, even if you didn't want to conduct the interview, or you didn't want to grant the lady the interview, there are nicer ways of dealing with it. Like Chief said, I'm busy, I'll get back to you. Or could you please call me back at a certain time?
Or even you promise that, I'll call you back.
I'll call you back. And then you quickly go behind her and call her boss. Say, oh, boss, did you authorize this lady to call me for blah, blah, blah? Oh, but issues of this nature, you would need a senior reporter whom I could, explain things to, and who would understand my angle. And then maybe the senior editor will tell you, oh, the person who called you is up to the task. Don't worry. Go ahead and grant it. She can handle it. Maybe she's one of those people I said from the beginning that has been doing the job for donkey years and decided to go back to school to learn one or two. So the person has the experience. You could have tactfully handled it this way, and then we wouldn't be here talking the way we are talking to her.
Can we also hazard a wild guess that maybe the lady also goofed one way or the other in her approach?
Anything is possible, because we didn't get the tape from the beginning. The only thing we heard from the woman was, the things that came before now, we didn't hear that. We didn't hear. So it will be very difficult to say 100% that the minister is wrong, and also say 100% that the intern is right. Because you didn't hear what started the conversation. Maybe she said something that triggered the woman's anger. So we should be very careful the way we handle it. I agree that the outburst part she could have avoided, but as to whether she's obligated to grant that interview because a reporter called or an intern called, Charlie, she could say no, and you will still hold her responsible and castigate her and everything. But if she hasn't spoken, whatever information you want, you won't get it. She's supposed to respond to journalists. She's supposed to this, that. But if she hasn't spoken,
let's even give Adom FM some respect here. This is not a mean station.
Yes.
It is not just any one of the newbies that you would say, let me even
No, ignore. They know what is right. They know. So I'm wondering why it was the lady they sent. Then it means that perhaps she's up to the task, the intern.
Okay.
Then perhaps she's up to the task.
Of course.
But the minister was outraged and acted wrongly.
For reasons we don't know.
Yes, for reasons we don't know. And acted wrongly. Get off the phone and we are whine. That's a bit too harsh for a caller who just mentions that I'm an intern. Maybe listen to her, let her ask a series of questions, then you could tell whether she's actually going.
What if she did all that?
Well, the tape didn't establish that.
Exactly.
The tape didn't establish that. And why are they putting it out now? And I think it should have been the full tape. It should have been the full tape, so we'll be fair to the situation.
Exactly.
But the way it was edited, drop the phone or go off, and then the next one comes in, and then the conversation continues. Everything puts the minister in a bad light. Even if you drop the full tape, the minister will still have said what she said, but will have enough.
Bad, yes.
She will still look bad, but would have enough to base our analysis on. But it's too skewed towards one end. That's what I'm saying. That both ends could come with problems. The intern side could have triggered something. The minister may have overreacted, which we need to condemn her for. But those reading the gender and agenda and feminism and all those things into it, I think let's cut all those ones off and deal with the issue as it is. This is an intern versus someone in a high position, and not a female versus another female in a high position. No.
Okay, thank you so much. His name is Arnold Mensah Elevanyo. And once again, you can also share your opinion on Twitter at Xylophone1021, at SammyFlex, at the hashtag Showbiz Agenda, so I can read it for you. That'll have to wrap up for me on this one, so I read your tweet. You'll be doing more on the show as well. Havko, your opinion.
Sammy, good morning once again.
Yes, boss.
I think yesterday I happened to be somewhere and then this issue popped up, and we were having a series of discussions about it, whether it was right or not. Now, there is a source to this, and the source is how, or the mindset we use on interns at our various working places. Because these are people, you find them at various working areas where they are saying, oh, where are they? Oh, you're intern. You understand? So she's not really she does not partake in any
the main activities.
Activity at the working place. You understand? So the minister had that mindset. Now let me take you back to Multimedia. They have a show on Joy FM called Newsfile. There was a day that they turned down the MPP's Nana B and another guy, saying that they were substandard to the topic that was being discussed.
They came to the studio?
Yes, they were supposed to come and represent, I think, the MPP on the show. They turned them down and said they were substandard to what they were going to discuss. But the same Multimedia sent an intern to go and interview a minister. So, you understand? A very serious two crisscrossing issues. Because you know what substandard is by turning other people who have been able to communicate for the party for some time now. You said that they don't fit into the show, you put them off. But you send an intern to go and interview a minister, I think we need to look at it from different positions. Now, imagine somebody like Shatawale. Somebody calls his phone. Who this? My name is Ampedu. From where? I'm from ohian.com. You understand? You should expect something. He may not be nice. Because Krumhano, we work with names and positions. People who have names.
Which should be something we should not be encouraging.
We shouldn't be encouraging.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not praising it. I'm saying it has been the norm in this country. Look, sometimes when you go somewhere and somebody does not introduce him or herself to you for you to know the person's position,
yeah,
you don't even respect until you hear, oh, my name is Chief Charles, CEO of Bosu.
Assumed.com.
Either than that, you and that is something we have to discourage doing. Who is a servant? A servant is a person who fits in every area, every situation, command respect from everybody. That is who a servant is. A servant is actually somebody that we do not even respect in society. Government appointees are servants. You understand? You call yourself a servant. Yebeka say, as Messi has been called to serve. Who are you coming to serve? The people. And so how do you go off against a person who calls you? One thing that people say,
and the information they were looking for too was relevant information.
Exactly. Even that one, Crown, there is also a twist to that.
Mm-hmm.
She was not supposed to have called the minister, because the thing they were talking about was loitering around and picking. They had to approach a certain sector for them because they give reports to the minister. You understand? So they had proper information as compared to the minister. So a honor crown pulls another sketchy area.
But I think I will not take that one. That particular point where you're saying that they are not supposed to call.
Well,
for instance, maybe Sammy Flex manages Xylophone FM, and you want an information from the sports department. If you call me and I have to put you on hold so that if I have to do my recheck from the sports people for you, I'll do that for you. But I don't have to turn you down because you have to call Chaskele before.
But no, you won't turn the person down.
Exactly.
But the person who makes the call must know that this call must go to the sports department.
Let's continue.
So those areas I'm not going there. But I'm saying that for everything, people say that Auntie Cecilia is very quiet woman. She respects Obuneho. Yesterday we were at Alisa Hotel. These were the things that we're talking about. But you see, for me, I feel when you listen to the conversation, I had not listened to the conversation, but I had ruled against the woman. I said, dear. Because you see, when somebody calls you and the person is able to mention a media house that you know, a media house that we all know, you go there, whatever. For the respect of the media house in Tino, you just dumb it down and talk to the girl in a nice manner.
Exactly.
Because Ghana, we like, who are you? Who are you?
Oh yeah, why?
Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? We like that thing too much. So he appeared in the woman's conversation. Oh yeah, why? Oh yeah, then oh. Madam, na say me clean the table so crumpo am afraid. Listen to what I got to say. You understand? So if she had given the girl a chance to say, okay, oh yeah, then oh. Mpacho me intern. Okay, inti
assembly.
That the girl goes on to tell you. You understand? But you see, immediately the girl mentioned the word intern, the woman became a typical Ghanaian, because Ghanaians, we have that mindset. If you are nobody, you can't talk to me.
Yeah.
And that is what happened. So I condemn the woman on that. Also, the woman is a woman. I know they don't want to play the gender card. For the sake of women empowerment, the president a few months ago was somewhere where she was heckled by feminists saying that we need to give women a chance. We need to give women a chance. And the president has said that we can't give women a chance if women don't work their way through to the top. We can't just wake up and say that Gina is some fine girl, so she should come and host the show. No, Gina must be tried and tested, proven to show that in the absence of Sammy, she can come and host the show. What did I say? So this young lady is a lady who is working her way to the top. She's not earning it by sleeping with somebody or by doing any, BBR. She's just working, going through the process. So for that sake, the woman should have said that, okay, for this girl having the chance to talk to me as the minister is going to do her a lot of good, because it builds her CV, because she had a chance to interview one time
her confidence as well.
One time sanitation minister, and it would do her a lot of good. So let me at least
give in for her.
There's been instances where you go to meet the press with the president, and people get up, and you could see that we know a reporter be a yasman if you baby. But do you think the president or somebody will say, sit down, you can't ask the question?
No.
Questions that are being asked, it is not asked because a person is an intern or not. It's about the intelligence of the person
and the substance the person is seeking for.
Saying, and Adom FM being that media house that we've known, that has been in our space, respect. If they put forward somebody to come and ask questions, it means they know what the person is capable of.
At least they have some level of trust for that person.
That is why the owner will choose the girl to go and do the interview. I don't think it was because they had shortage of reporters. I don't think it was because there were not people that he felt can do the job. But this person was tasked to do the job because she could do it better. So the woman goofed. But on the other side also, let's look at our public offices. Sammy, we don't just pick phone and call people at serious public offices just because we have their numbers. You understand? I believe there are a lot of people who don't even pick calls. The people in like high positions, they don't just pick calls. So I think the minister,
when we are all campaigning for right to information and all that.
Yes,
I still say that.
Sammy, if we will be real with this, I've realized that this country is divided, has always been divided. Once it's for one party, the other side all come in. But you see,
so are you also doing your analysis on party grounds?
No. That's what I'm saying. We should not go on that tangent. Look, as at this time, me and you, we can't just pick a phone and call the president.
We can't. We should be able to.
No.
You said we should be able to.
We shouldn't.
Oh, how?
We shouldn't.
No,
now,
why shouldn't we?
In the country of over 30 million population, if everybody can pick a phone and call the president, now Panovenia also there, Juma.
No. That's why he put
no, chief. No.
But what does the president do?
Okay. Guys, I beg you. Let's give Hafko the space to land.
Let me finish. You see,
Hafko, land for me.
That is why I like that. I know.
There's protocol.
That's what we call something protocol.
Yes.
You need to go through that before. Now even
I understand there is protocol,
yes,
but we should also know that when it comes to our political people and the way they work with them, they go to the ministers, they talk to them straight. I'm not sure if Peace FM or Adom FM, if they want to talk to any of the ministers, they go and call his special assistant. Oh, can you call them? Unless maybe they are not getting through to him.
That's what I'm saying.
Because the ministers go to these people, give them their contact. That anytime you need an explanation to an issue, give me a call.
That's what I'm saying. That
there's a business they have to do.
That's how
that can happen.
That's what I'm saying, that the minister goofed. But let's look at the other side of the coin also. So I mean, if a radio station wants to interview me and they call me, like xylophone, who friend Mrs. I say, "I've got a interview." Every I'm in interview, no. I know one shall answer. Why didn't you tell me that I've got by 9:30? You know, by your interview.
But
what I say? Immediately you call me at that very moment, say. Okay.
Okay.
We need to look at we need to look at the other side of the coin.
Okay.
Let's understand and accept to say the people that have been called to serve, even though they are servants, we should also give them some respect. Yeah. Like the woman said, the respect of the office. It is not anybody who can just call Asmesi and say that the person may your interview.
Okay.
It doesn't work.
Thank you so much, Dada Hafko. Yes, Chief. Briefly, I beg you my time. I want to read the tweet. Yeah.
Dada Hafko is self-made. I am self-made. I am not paid by the taxpayer. He's not paid by the taxpayer. He has full control over his time and what he uses it for. If a journalist calls Dada Hafko and he says, "I won't grant you this interview," you cannot fault him in any way, shape, or form, because he has full prerogative over his time and what he will use it for. The minister doesn't have that right. I'm coming. But
She also pays tax.
what she pays the tax from is from what we give her. Let's get that dichotomy. It is what we give her. No, I'm coming. It is what we give her.
Plus what she pays too.
Fair enough, but it is largely what we give her. Without us, she doesn't have no job. Without Ghana, you have a job. You are self-made. You are lacing your own self by your own bootstraps.
Chief,
and so,
that point well made.
That
point well made.
If they get to that high office, if you call a minister, in effect, you are calling the president, because the president has arms and representatives, and they have the mandate because we the people gave them the mandate to be answerable to us. And so if they get there and they say it is not just anybody that can come, but anybody can vote for you. But when you now have the office, not anybody can call you. What logic are you trying to make?
Okay, Arnold, I'll give you the chance to wrap up. Let's get on to the line. We are blessed to have a journalism lecturer among us. His name is Professor Mike Yamwa. In fact, he's tutored so many journalists on the field today. Let's get to know from him the idea and the act of internship and what they even expect their students to learn. Yes, Prof.
And I miss you guys.
Yeah. I actually wanted you in the studio for us to do this discussion, but I hear you are very busy elsewhere.
Serious. You'll be seeing me next week.
No problem, boss. No problem at all. Yes, now, Professor, let's go straight to business because of time. We are having a discussion here, which I know you are following because I've read some one or two posts from you on social media where the sanitation minister has asked why an intern would be allowed to call her for an information. Now, we're asking that as a journalism lecturer, with your position, putting students out for internship, what would you allow or would you permit that they go for such big jobs like calling a minister?
Yeah, Sam, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And, Sam, the question you've asked is quite relative. It's relative but straightforward in the sense that you assign people based on their competence. Based on their competence. And I will even use myself as an example. I happen to have been in journalism school. After I completed my first degree, I went for internship, and within the first week, I was even helping to write editorials. Based on my competence at that time and my skill. So that doesn't necessarily come in. It doesn't come in at all.
So there is nothing like a big job for an intern. Is that what you mean? Based on the person's competence?
Sam, you see, what is the intern there to do? The intern is there to do journalistic work.
Exactly. Prof, can I also say the intern is there to learn practical journalistic work? Can we also say that?
Yes. And the intern, the word itself is on probation. You are learning the rudiments of the job. That's why you are interned to a media house. You get to learn the rudiments of the job. But when you get there and the editorial team thinks you are qualified enough to handle any assignment, then it falls back to the team, whether they were competent enough or they misjudge you. You get it? But the issue here is that you are there as a reporter. You don't go introduce yourself as an intern. The job you are doing is a reporting job. So how you get me?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes, it's a reporting job you are doing. So who are you? Oh, I'm a reporter at what? At Adom FM. Because the job you are doing is the job of a reporter. It's a journalistic work. It's not the job of an intern. An intern can be there doing so many jobs. Somehow you get me. You can have an intern serving coffee. Maybe a person from a catering school. But once you're in the newsroom, working as a reporter, you are there as a reporter.
Okay.
And your editor assigns you to an assignment based on the skill that the person sees in you.
Okay.
So for me, it is somehow it's moot. Maybe the introduction didn't go well.
Okay, so Prof, let me know your general assessment and judgment of the scenario, what we have on our table now, the Adom FM and the minister's issue. How do you do the assessment, boss?
Yes, having said that, it's good this issue is coming up. And just as you mentioned, I've been on social media having a lot of interaction, not necessarily taking a stand, but it brings a lot of questions to how intense, and not necessarily even intense alone, but even journalists are treated within the space we find ourselves. More importantly, even with public or officials. And this happens a lot because people think journalists are always looking for news. They are after us. Let's treat them based on who we have an affiliation with. And it doesn't help. But the genesis of all this issue, I saw a post by the editor of Adom FM, Sammy. Fortunately, the one who assigned the girl on social media on Saturday, playing the gender card, that women are their own enemies. And then we have an expose of a minister who has disrespected an intern. And the full story is coming up soon. That was Saturday, 20th July. And I was like, wow, then Adom FM has something coming up. But you see, and I'm not so comfortable with this issue being played out in the media. It's a journalism training. You began pitching the person to people in authority, which for me, I'm not too comfortable with it. But that's the kind of environment we find ourselves. Every media house wants attention. The slight issue, they want to overplay it so that they become talk of the town. I, being a news editor, will not subject a trainee to this public spectacle, no matter how rude the minister has been. I would have called her and said, look, these are the hazards of the job. You are likely to face most of these issues, and probably even drive her or reassign her to the minister's office, give her the second chance and say, now it was on phone. Now go there, get the information. So how you get it?
I get you. Now, Prof, do you see some political battle here? Some political battle lines here?
Oh, as for the political battle, we all can read meanings into it.
Oh, okay.
We know for some time, multimedia and the government, they've had issues. I think they've even boycotted their platforms or news violence based on the, I think, what was it? Manasseh did a documentary which they were not too cool with it. Yeah, so for the political affiliated people, they want to read lines into it.
Okay.
But I see it more as trying to raise a general issue, okay, rather than political. And then also not being too tactful. I would have handled it a different way.
All right, Prof.
Because now, whether I like it or not, the journalist has been marked. Okay, it may either dampen the spirit or strengthen her. It's a two-way issue.
All right, Professor, thank you so much for talking to us. I'm sure when we meet again, you have another chat.
Thanks so much. And let me congratulate Chief Charles on his new song.
It is not a new song, it's an old song.
Oh, old song, how can you fail on this project?
How can you fail? Thank you so much, Professor Mike Yamua. He is part of us, but unfortunately today he's not in the studio. But then he's giving his expert opinion. I think Prof spoke so well.
He's not called Professor for nothing.
Yeah. He spoke so well, giving us different angles to this. Right, you want to add something brief?
Yes, I mean, and one Professor Akano, he said it all. The lady was working in the capacity of a reporter. I think that we all didn't see. Prof has pointed it out real well. Let's respect both sides. The fact that they are there to serve us doesn't mean we can just throw anything at them and expect them to just hold it and leave or act the way we want. We've all agreed unanimously over here that the minister went over the board with what she did and how she reacted to the situation. But on the other hand, let's also find ways to deal with them so that we don't always, it's like we dig a hole and we tell them step there. When they fall into the hole, then we are like, you are blind. No, let's not create issues for them. You could have sent someone who is more competent, and I want to believe the lady is competent. That's why they put her forward to ask to go conduct that interview. But what happened? How did the woman flare up? What did she say? All these things should be known. They should put out the full tape and let's judge it well.
Thank you, Chief. I beg you, Chief. I beg you very, very well. Karim Dagrin Benzema wants me to say, okay, let me read this straight. He says, Sammy, kindly extend my greetings to this brother that I have. Coach photo is here. The depth of wisdom he's espoused on this intern topic is refreshing. He's done justice to the issue. All right, so it is time for us to read your tweet.